So yeah, so all right, you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to be going over my game. I'm not going to have time to do Puzzle Rush today, just because I have to get rolling along and do some other things. Thank you, Super Cerebral, for subscribing with Twitch Prime. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over my game today. Because the sound of the room, again, not much I can do about it. I'm also not using the same microphone that I have at home either, so that's just how it goes. So, all right, so we're going to start with the game that I played today against Grandmaster Wesley. So, I think Wesley's won. I think he's only won one U.S. championship right now. So yeah, so we'll look at the game today. So game start D4, knight F6, C4, E6, knight 3, D5, nothing special. I played the Catalan, bishop G2, knight E5, knight C6, and here I played bishop C6 in the Sinkfield Cup, I believe in 2016 or 17. Wesley played takes, and he played this knight A3 variation against me, and I actually lost that game with black. So we played quite a few of these Catalan games with both colors. So Professional Moisturizer says, I thought Hikaru was playing the US Champs. So yes, I am playing the US Champs, but my game was a draw. So again, Stushi, everyone who's watching, yeah, sorry about the microphone issues. There's not much I can do about it. The internet here at the hotel is really just terrible. So if you want to complain, why don't you guys just call up the front desk here at the Chase and just complain to them, because it's not my fault. So yeah, there's just not much I can do about it, you guys. Yeah, Super Science says I'll get on that. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because here, because it's crazy. It's crazy because this hotel, the Chase, what is it called? The Chase Plaza, Chase something. Let me pull it up. What's it called? The Chase. What is it called? The hotel, the Chase. Chase Park Plaza, Royal Sonesta, St. Louis. It's supposed to be the it hotel, the best hotel in the local area. And yet, this is supposed to be the best hotel, but when I stayed at the Parkway Plaza Hotel here in St. Louis, which is pretty close by, there was actually an Ethernet port I was able to plug in, and I think for those of you who were watching a few weeks back, I was able to get a great connection, and it was, I mean, there were issues with the sound even then, but it was just really, really smooth and simple to use. So, I mean, maybe they need to do something about this hotel because this is supposed to be the best hotel in St. Louis. So, all right, you guys. So back to the game very briefly. What's the name of the hotel? Okay, Chase Park Plaza, Royal Sonesta in St. Louis. There you guys go. I just decided to write that in the chat for you guys. So back to the game now. Okay, so knight c6 was played by Wesley. We traded. I took queen e8, takes, queen a4, e5. All pretty standard. Takes. Now here I played rook e1. As far as I know, this move is a novelty over the board. Thank you, Sushi, for resubbing 3 months in a row. Well, Chase Park Plaza is what it is. Chase Park Plaza is what the hotel is. Anyway, yeah, and it's crazy because when I stayed at the Parkway, let me just pull that up for you guys. What's it called specifically? Yeah, when I stayed at the Parkway, yeah, the Parkway was so. The Parkway Hotel in St. Louis is where I stayed before they, it's supposed to be a cheaper hotel. I mean, the accommodation, the room was fine, but they had an Ethernet port. So because they had an Ethernet port, for that reason itself, I will probably try to stay there next time because it was just fantastic. Really, really, really good with the Ethernet port. I was able to stream. You guys got me when I was playing Duda. Like, what more can you ask for? So, all right, you guys. Anyway, yeah, I'm just, we're getting off track here. So, okay, so here I played rook e1. As far as I know, I think it's still a novelty over the board. I'm pretty sure it's been played in correspondence a couple of times. Very simply, you protect the pawn on e2. Queen takes c4 has been played before as well. But then after bishop e6, queen d3, bishop f5, queen d2, bishop g4. This is a known line where black is doing completely fine. So that's why I played rook e1, protect the pawn. Maybe you play for e4 as well because the queen's on e5. So after bishop e6, played knight c3. Now an idea here would be maybe after bishop b7 to play for something like knight c3, rook d8, and now maybe e4. Take advantage of this queen being on e5 and the rook being on e1. So this is one possibility. Is Wesley my next door neighbor? If yes, music please. Well, I'm actually not streaming this, so for that reason, even if I put music on, which for you guys I think I will, I'll just put some music on my own computer. I don't think you guys can hear it, but we'll let me just see for sure. If you guys can, I don't think you guys can hear it, but I'll just put some music on for myself. Let me know if you guys can hear it. I don't think you can, but let me know if you can. I assume you'll just hear like. I can't do it. So anyway, yeah, you don't hear anything. Okay, whatever, that's fine. All right, you guys. So back to the game. This is one idea. Bishop b7. Wesley played bishop e6, very principled, protect the pawn. I played knight c3. e4 doesn't work here, except after knight e4. If I play like f3, trying to take advantage of this pin. Sorry, 1 second. If I play f3 here, black can play queen c5, and if bishop e3, or wait, no, sorry, not queen c5, black can play knight c5, hitting the queen and hitting the rook on e1 as well, and black is completely fine here. So therefore, I can't really play e4 right away. Hey, Hikaru, glad to see you back. Is it arena, guys? No, technically I'm not streaming. But anyway, 83, 36, 5, so I called the hotel, they were working on it. You know, it's funny because actually they were renovating this hotel. So like when I was in St. Louis in November and February, there were no rooms available. The hotel was quote unquote sold out. So and even when I got here the other day, the floors, the carpet in the hallway smelled like it had just been painted, and there's a very funky smell even here in the room. So I think they might have just finished like the renovations on this floor, like the day we all checked in. Thank you, Chestub, for subscribing with Twitch Prime. So in the game, I played knight c3 here. You guys, I don't have a second screen, so that's why I might be a little bit flipping between the screens. So I don't have my iPad set up right now. So knight c3. And actually, you know what, you guys, I will get my iPad. So give me 1 second. I will be right back. 1 second. Okay, you guys. 1 second. Let me get on the Wi-Fi so I can have a second screen. 1 second, you guys. Okay. Someone Gebed MV1 says, do I read philosophy? I read Plato years ago. I have not touched Crito, I forget how you say it. I have not touched any of that jazz for a long time. Long time. Okay, log in. I should be connected, right? I am connected, I think. So 1 second, you guys. One second, you guys. Is Crito some kind of drug? No, it's called CRITO. That's what the title's called. So, all right, guys, let me try to set this up. Oh man, how do I set this up? 1 second. Okay, so there we go. Not perfect. It's not the perfect setup I want, but it'll have to do. Oh, come on. I can't stand against the lamp. 1 second. There we go. Okay, you guys, take your time. There we go. Thank you, Dr. Blunderstein. Okay, so back to the game. Now that I've got both, now that I've got everything kind of working. It's not perfect, mind you, but now that I've got everything working. All right, so knight c3 is what I play in the game. Wesley played knight e4, very principled. Knight d5 is also playable. Takes, queen c3, bc3. And here he's got the open diagonal. He can hit all the pawns here. And this might be a little bit simpler than knight e4 because there are some practical issues here with this diagonal being closed potentially. But nonetheless, what Wesley played is fine as well. So rook b8, f3. Now it's worth noting, one thing that's worth noting about the structure is one thing in chess you see very, I Google Credo, it's a book by Plato, yeah. So one thing that I did notice is that, or not notice, one thing that you'll notice in chess, generally speaking, is that there are certain structures, things you try to play for. 1 second, you guys. Sorry, I just need to find some way to stand something up. Gotta find my perfect setup. 1 second. Put some water behind. There we go. Okay, perfect. There we go. Perfect, you guys. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Actually, 1 second. Okay, very good. Very good, you guys. Okay, now I think I can see. Perfect. 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 Now we're good. Now we're good. Okay, you guys. So workout D was played. Okay, sounds okay. Sorry, you guys. I just had to move my iPad around. So as I was saying, one thing you'll notice in chess is there are a lot of things that deal with structure. So this position looks very innocuous, and in fact, because this pawn is on c3, not a3, it's actually okay for black. Chris Wainscott says tell Chris to hold it. Chris Wainscott says tell Chris. Chris is at the gym, Mr. Wainscott, so that won't work. This was all prep. Rook b2 is the first new move. I had looked at rook b7. I concluded that the game is fine for black, but rook b2 is a nice way to play. So as I was saying about structures, I'm going to go way back to the beginning just so you guys have an idea of a similar structure. So let's go back to the start. So I'm gonna pull up this game between Zhu and Jun and Katerina Lagno. So I think the game went dc4 castles, c5, dc5. How did the game go? 1 second, you guys. Queen d1, rook d1, knight c6, knight d2, knight a5. I think it was something like this. And like, how am I missing the tempos? Whatever, I'll lose the tempo. So anyway, the position turned out like this. Bishop takes a3, b takes a3. And then castles, knight e4, e5, bishop b2. Or sorry, not bishop b2, sorry, bishop d2, my bad. Bishop d2, takes, knight c6, takes, and then after bishop c3, you reach a position that's very, very similar to bishop c6, bishop b5. You reach a position that's very similar, except you've got two double A pawns against double C pawns here. So because of that, the position's very unclear, but Lagno did go on to win because she was able to put the bishop on c3 and use the B and D files and push this A pawn up the board. So it's obviously quite different than what happened in my game, but just to give you an example of some of the dangers of these structures with these double C pawns here. So back to the game. So bishop f4, rook b2. Like I said, this was the first new move. I had looked at rook b7 before the game. And so after rook b2, thank you, Sign Farms, for subscribing with Twitch Prime. So here, after a 30-minute thing, I played rook d1, essentially conceding a draw. I spent a lot of time calculating bishop takes c7, rook d2, not rook d3, sorry, rook d2, king f2. And I calculated that after rook takes a2, if I get this position with takes in g4, this is probably better for white, but I'm not sure what's happening here. Because if I can get rook d1, rook d8, and maybe put a bishop on d4, structurally I can claim to be better. But for example, I saw something simple like this idea. Check king h7, rook a8, a4, trying to push the pawn, bishop d6, a3. And quite simply, if I played bishop takes a3, black can play something like f6, and I can never move the bishop, so I'll hang the rook. And even if we reach this sort of position, this is also a draw because of the opposite color bishops here, and black can put a bishop on b3 and permanently protect the pawn, combined with all these pawns being on light squares as well. So this is sort of what I saw in the position when I was thinking for quite a while, trying to make this sort of stuff work, and I just didn't really see it. And I also thought that here, sorry, not rook d3, after rook d2, king f2, black could even just sort of wait with something like h5 right here to prevent g4. And the pawns are always very weak on a2 and e2, and I wasn't convinced that it would that it could be anything possibly where I was pressing for a win. Chess Fight in stream says playing for a draw. Wesley also playing for a draw. No, I wasn't playing for a draw. I was just playing for something with a very, very small pull, very Magnus style, where I was playing for a very slight pull where I could just play with no risk. So I played rook d1 after this long thing because I didn't see the way to win after bishop c7, rook d2. Now I knew, of course, like I said, that rook b7 was the correct move and rook b2 was not the best computer move. Did I really need to calculate 30 minutes for that, or did I double check everything? I was just trying to, actually, more than pure calculation, not king f2, sorry, bishop c7, rook d2. I was trying to calculate variations. Like, even this was another idea, to try to trade rooks. But after h5, again, the pawns are hanging, so I have to go king f2, rook a2. And black can play maybe bishop f5, bishop d3, and even something like this, where I try to prevent the pawn. There always are issues with bishop f5, idea of going bishop d3 to put pressure on the e2 pawn. If I go king e3, black can go bishop h3 and hit the pawn from behind on f1. So that's why I spent all this time on rook d1, because I was trying to, I knew that rook b2 is not the best move, but it's a very good practical decision by Wesley. And after rook d2, or not rook d2, sorry, after bishop c7, rook d2, king f2, even just h5, I thought even if I get a4 in where I'm up a pawn here, I've got an extra pawn, I can never play on the b file here, because then black can always sit with the rook. Like, even something like this, I can never really take, this pawn becomes very dangerous. And thoughts on 95 variation versus like queen c2. In general, queen c2 is more principled, but I was playing for a very small advantage, something where maybe I could squeeze Wesley very, very slowly in a very long game. And it's worth noting there are other variations that are similar. So, for example, I lost a game to Fabiano, actually, in a very similar line. So there was a game against Fabiano I played with this variation, and it's actually, again, quite similar. Takes, queen e8, takes, queen a4, and e5, takes, and I think it went bishop f4. I think it was something like bishop over queen e7 and castles, or even bishop e3, sorry, followed by castles. Or sorry, no, queen a4, c5 was how it went. Takes, bishop e3, queen e7 and castles. And it's very slightly different, but it's the same general structure where you get these 6 pawns, 6 against 6, but black ends up with stay pawns in c7 or c4. And it's a very slight pull for white here as well. So, again, you guys who are complaining about the sound, sorry, not much I can do. Thank you, Totantas, for subscribing to Twitch Prime. Blame the hotel. Blame the Chase Park Plaza for not having Ethernet ports in their rooms. Supposed to be the best hotel in St. Louis, and they can't even have Ethernet ports, unlike the Parkway Plaza. So what to do, you guys? So back to the game. So I played rook d1. Do I think Fabi and the other guys are watching this so they can try to figure out how to beat you? If Wesley is in his room, I would not be shocked if Wesley is watching the stream. If Wesley got the notification that I'm live, I bet Wesley is watching. I know Wesley likes my streams a lot. He watches them all the time. So if Wesley is actually not out eating or something, I would not be shocked if Wesley is watching. I actually would expect Wesley to be watching the stream. So yeah, Wesley will complain about the noise. Yeah, so anyway, you guys, so I played rook d1, we traded h5. Again, Wesley showed, even here when I was obviously already pretty much conceding the draw, Wesley still showed good understanding to play h5 and stop nh4. So because of that, I was not concerned, really that frustrated by the draw, because when Wesley played h5, it's like, okay, Wesley knew what the right setup was. And Wesley's a very good player. So it's not shocking at all that he played h5. And after this, basically rook d2, traded, and now it's a draw. The only chance for white to win is maybe if I can win the a pawn and run the a pawn down the board. But of course, Wesley is much too good to allow any nonsense like that. So king f2, bishop h3, I played bishop f4, c6 was played, and so after c6, I played a4, just try to run the pawn to a6, last little trick, a5. Of course, black puts all the pawns on light squares, so the bishop can never really attack them. Someone says Lenderman is still playing, so I won't be more tired than tomorrow. Lenderman didn't win already? I mean, I know he's completely busted earlier against A1 or Liang. I might have been able to win this against Eric. In a blitz game, yeah. In a blitz game against Eric, I would have done something cheesy. Gotten the pawn to a6, gotten bishop b3, bishop a7, you heard meow, 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 meow. Like every 5 seconds you would hear that from Eric. Yeah, you would have heard meow, meow, meow. As Eric and Cat know, you guys, in case you're wondering about the meow, that's from a video that I posted on YouTube, or it was posted on my YouTube channel yesterday, of me adopting Eric, part 1 on YouTube. I assume someone will probably link it, one of the mods or somebody will link it. Someone will probably link it, but basically the first 30 seconds are about Eric cursing and losing his mind, and basically he gets bleeped out by cats. Is Eric in St. Louis too right now? I think Eric is doing commentary, so yes, Mr. Meow himself is there. Yeah, maybe Max or one of the mods can post a YouTube link as well. But yeah, basically the first 30 seconds are oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you, Chessbay, for the YouTube link. So yeah, basically if you open that link, the first 30 seconds, you'll see Eric losing his mind over a pre-move, and you'll see a meow, which is basically bleeping him out. So, all right, you guys, back to the game. C6, A4, King F5, A5, and now I played A6. The only trick here is if something like King E6, I can maybe go A6 and Bishop E3 and win the pawn. So Wesley played A6, I played King E3 here. Try to run the king straight in, but after Bishop F1, we just ended up repeating. King D4 does not work. It's an idea to try and lose, but after takes, King C5, wanting to run in and win this pawn and push the A pawn. Black takes, King B6, and there are many ways to draw here for Black. First of all, I think, well, Black can maybe even play for the win with something like C5, King A6, King E4, and King D3 here. But even if Black doesn't do that, even something like this, I think, takes, C5, King B5, King E6. Even if I get the maximum here, let's say I get everything I want here, even or not this, even this endgame is also still a draw. Like, let's just say we play F6, C4, and even if we get everything I want with this position is still a draw because the pawns are split, and the bishop can always cover both the squares on C6 and A8 here. So for that reason, when I saw that this was the absolute max I could get, knowing that this was a draw, I didn't go for it. Not to mention, I realized there's also something like King E4 and King D3. Like, if this happens, I'm probably going to lose because he can create a pass pawn here and use these pawns to create a pass pawn down the F file as well. The Narthan says, OMG, whoever had the idea to bleep Eric with cats is an absolute genius. Yeah, that was pretty genius, wasn't it? I mean, I'm not going to lie. That was pretty genius. So, all right, you guys. So that's how the game ended, with a draw.